Does it look fine?
Yes. Yes. Hi, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, we were just trying to sort out the issue with Zoom and Facebook. Right, we are live.
So do say hello if you can actually see us.
Yeah,
we think you can see us, but we've lost a bit of confidence in Zoom plus Facebook over the last however many minutes late we are. So please say hello.
Oh, that's weirdly. It doesn't show like I want it to show. Huh. Side by side mode. Okay, never mind.
Can you fiddle with it?
I'm not going to fiddle with it because it's just showing something weird. So you can't see both of our faces at the same time, it seems. Apologies about that. We worked really hard to do that, but it doesn't work. Never mind. So today, Alice and I, well, first of all, let's introduce ourselves because maybe some of you are new to this community and don't know us. I'm Antonina Mamzenko.
I'm Alice Chapman.
This is Alice Chapman, and we are two of the four co-founders of Made for Documentary. And today we thought we'll do a Zoomcast about business myths, and we're going to bust some of them. There is a lot of kind of misconceptions, I think, about running a photography business, especially documentary family photography business that we've come across. We've both been in photography business for 10 years, each of us-ish, right? And then we've worked in corporate business before that as well. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we thought we're in a good position to bust some of them, basically. Yeah. If you have any questions or thoughts that sort of come up, or maybe something you've come across as a myth when you first started and now you know it's not true, just share in the comments and we'll keep an eye on them as well.
I have to remember to refresh. We've got, thank you for saying hello. So hi, Freya and Vicky, Kirsty, Rebecca. Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Just join in the conversation as we go on. Okay, so should we start with myth number one?
Yeah, myth number one.
That seems like a good place to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hang on, this is where I get. Is this going to work?
I'm not seeing it.
Yeah.
Oh, don't we love technology? Yay!
There we go. Myth number one, you need amazing IT skills to do this.
Yes, it's not a myth.
Yeah. So it's, if you've got an artistic skill, you should sell it. And this is where a lot of us start, isn't it? We have a hobby to start with, whether it's photography or something else, and we get really good at it. We do our 10,000 hours or whatever it's supposed to take to get really good at something. And people say, oh, you know, you're brilliant, you should sell that, or you should go professional. And for lots of people, that's really a good thing to do. But for some people, it actually isn't, is it? It's not for everybody. No. So before we even start about, you know, getting into business, you have to think, actually, is this something that's right for me? Just because it's right for the next person, it's not right for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. There are so many amazing artists who create, including in this community, and just in photography in general, who are great artists. But first they choose not to run a business, or they've tried running a business and they decided it wasn't for them because it just sort of takes away from their photography. I think it kind of like, there's a myth that if you run a photography business, you're a photographer. You're not.
You're one of the hats you have to wear, isn't it? Yeah.
And it's like probably the smallest percentage of the stuff that you have to do, right?
I think there's a really good pie chart. It's like 12% or 12.5% of your time is spent actually taking photos, and the rest is everything else. And running the business is a really big part of it. And there's plenty of people who just do it as a hobby, and that's a really valid artistic thing to do. And I think I always talked in the past about a spectrum of styles of photography, and I think there's like a spectrum of people who are into or suited to running a business. And at the one end, you've got people who, like there's a Myers-Briggs type, which is called the entrepreneur, really entrepreneurial, you know, been setting up businesses their whole life. And then at the other end, you've got people who just kind of cringe or just, you know, die inside at the thought of doing that. And in the middle, there's loads of people who have a mix of different levels of confidence. You might just have particular skills gaps. There's maybe something you just feel, oh my God, I can't do that. There's other things you think, yeah, I can do that, or I'd like to do that. So it's tuning into whether it appeals to you, whether actually you want that life of someone who's hobby basically dies the minute you decide to monetize it. Because we were talking about hobbies the other day, weren't we?
Yeah, someone asked me the other day, what's your hobby? I don't have any. I used to have a hobby, yes. And the person went, wow, that's really cool. Like you get to earn a living with your hobby, but it's actually, it's not, I mean, don't get me wrong, I love it, obviously. I wouldn't be doing it for that long. Photography business actually is the longest thing I've ever done. But it's not all fun. Not always fun anyway. But I think what Alice said is to like, if you're in that middle where you like the idea of earning money with your skill, and you kind of want to explore that, but maybe you're lacking the skill, there's nothing wrong with like learning about it, but it's just going into it with open eyes and understanding that it's not just photographing that will be required of you if you run it as a business.
Okay, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Well, that worked a little bit better this time. Yeah, so this is that when you run your business, you don't have a boss anymore. You do, and it's you.
Yeah.
And there's good things about that and bad things about that, because it's quite difficult to manage yourself. You have to actually do it. You have to manage yourself, and you have. So what can help with that is getting to know how you work, what motivates you, what doesn't motivate you, what things you work well at, what things you don't work so well at, and you kind of have to be that person that you're accountable to, not in a an odd way, but just acknowledge it and face up to it and think, okay, do I need to do some work on changing my workflow so that I get the most out of myself at certain times of day? Or is there something that I'm just really, so unmotivated to do? Do I really need to think about someone else does that, who you pay to do it? Because unless you do that, you are doing everything, absolutely everything. And that's one of the hard things.
Yeah, isn't there like an internet meme or something where you leave your job to not be accountable to a boss anymore, but then you end up like working all the time, and also your clients are your boss as well. Like it's not like I can do whatever I want to do whenever I want to do it. No, not quite like that. You have your clients that you're accountable to.
I kind of think of them as like shareholders sometimes. Sometimes people, like, you might leave a job in the corporate world to set up your own business, partly because you want to get away from that, and you might have pressures like, the shareholders need this report by Tuesday, and I'm so getting away from that world. Then you have clients texting you at 11 o'clock at night going, oh, that shoot today was great, can I see the pictures now? No. Then you have all these people who actually you are accountable to, and you are expecting things from you, and you have to manage expectations. So it's a bit like having a boss and shareholders.
Yeah. But I think the hardest part is managing yourself, as Alice said, and kind of knowing when to push yourself, but also when to give yourself a time off.
Definitely. And one of the great things to think about with being your own boss is that, a lot of us in this industry are female, and a lot of mothers, and there's many conversations in our community, in the community of women at work, about potential discrimination. And there's an organisation called Pregnant Then Screwed in the UK, which have the back of women who've not got on so well at work because of their family circumstances. Equal opportunities is something that it can be quite difficult when you're in employment, if you maybe have a bit of bad luck with where you work. So you have the opportunity to be the most equal employee opportunity employer there is. That if you want to have you set your, like you said, time off, or like one thing I really like to do is have a chunk of, not a little chunk of the year off every year. I can do personal work in, and I factor that into my pricing. If you went to a boss and said, okay, can I have January off every year to go and do this, and can you still pay me? What are they going to say? No. I want to look at photos of my own kids and edit them because they've been sitting on my computer for a year. Can I do that for a month, please? Like, no. But you can do that for yourself, and it's amazing. But you've got to think about structuring it like that, I guess, haven't you?
Yeah, it's about planning. It is about planning ahead, and as you said, like knowing, okay, if I'm going to take this time off, then I need to make up for it during the rest of the year, and how I'm going to structure my pricing and sessions and workload. And equally, summer holidays, right? You want to take it off when kids are out of school and that sort of thing. There's lots of different ways you can do it, for sure.
Okay. Kind of hoping for a next slide, please, Simon.
Next slide, please. I love this picture of yours, by the way.
This one. Yeah.
No, the previous one with the
superhero.
superhero.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so we all know what it's like to not really be our own boss at all if we have little people in the house. So it's a nice chance to actually embrace that for ourselves. Okay.
So myth number 3, you only have to work on the business in the beginning. Like once you've done it, you've done it. And then you can just take pictures. No, not at all. There's constantly work at refining things you've set up already. Obviously, there's a huge chunk of work to be done at the very beginning when you're setting up. And it's better to do it straight away, like setting up your contracts and your CRM and your sort of backbone of your website and client management systems and all that. But still, even after you've done all that, you still have to work on your business a lot and refine and look what's working, what's not working. Is the marketing working? If not, then what else can I try? Is the pricing working for me? If not, how can I adjust it? How can I rejig my offering so I can free up more time, for example? It's never ending. Same with SEO, I think. It's another sort of related misconception. You've done it once and that's it. No, it's not.
So it's not only taking the time to do those tweaks and iterations with your workflow, your systems, the decisions you've made, whether it's pricing, but it's building in time to just sit and step back and look at everything and evaluate everything. So again, if you compare it to being employed, companies have like strategy away days. You're not going to go paintballing with yourself.
Why not?
But you can book into your diary a couple of times a year to take a day where you can go and sit and take your laptop to a cafe or something. That's a bit like it's now, but then just forget everything else and think, okay, let me look at how the last 6 months have gone against the plan for the business. Are we on track? Do we need to change anything? Yeah, so building in time to do things like that is important.
Yeah, I know some people book away like a weekend in a hotel away from the kids, so they can really concentrate on strategy and thinking and not be interrupted by little people all the time. And also like you working on up-leveling your skills. That's another thing. I think it's really important that you constantly, there's always something new, and you kind of have to keep on top of that. So yeah.
Going back to what you said about how it takes a lot more time at the beginning, that is so true. I think the first time you do anything, it takes like twice as long. And I think if you are in the beginning stages, you really need to allow a good chunk of time to get things set up, and not necessarily plan on earning a lot of money at the beginning. Because a lot of this stuff is non-revenue generating immediately, but it obviously feeds the revenue coming in later on. So build that into the plan as well.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's a great one. A lot of people think that, I think. I've come across definitely people saying there's not enough clients with this genre. People won't pay enough for documentary family photography. And we both know it's not true.
Yeah. It's just like any other genre. There's a person for every price point. There's a market for every price point. I think there's a misconception on the client side sometimes, or we think there might be, that clients think, oh, these are just snapshotty. I can take a picture of my kids doing an activity or playing a certain game. Why should I pay someone else to? Whereas you compare that to, say, a beautifully posed newborn portrait with accessories, or a really creamy bouquet portrait outside in a field or something, and they can't do that themselves. So you do have to educate them about the artistic value of what we do sometimes, just to dispel that myth for the clients. But clients that get it and like your work and like your website will totally pay well for it.
Absolutely. It's a lot of those clients out, they love art, they love contemporary art. You'll find photographs, like street photography on their walls. You'll find like famous photographers' books on their bookshelves, and so they get that. and they do pay. So I think we need to let go of that misconception that there's no money to be made in documentary family photography. It is a business though, so it has to be treated, again, like going back to myth number whatever. You have to treat it as a business, and then there's definitely scope to make money with it. But that kind of leads us to our next slide, which is not a myth, but a nice illustration of why you might struggle to find clients. And that's what we call the vicious circle of business mistakes.
Circle.
Yeah.
So if your pricing is, we'll say wrong, but not right for you at this time, but let's just use the word wrong for now. If your pricing is wrong for you, then your marketing is going to be wrong, and that's going to lead you to get the wrong clients for you, which means your portfolio isn't going to be right for you, and then it all goes in a circle, and it can be really hard to get out of it. Like, which do you work on first? How do you stop it? Sometimes you just have to just stop everything and just throw it all up in the air and go with a blank sheet of paper. But don't expect it to change by itself if you don't break this. That now it is cycle. Break the cycle. We've been having circle/cycle conversations as well.
Yeah. Fun of not having English as a first language. But like it's one of those things where, you know, if you price too low, you're not going to attract clients who value necessarily art, right? And then if you run offers all the time, you're not going to attract clients who are prepared to pay big money for this sort of service. It applies to anything. It's not just photography.
They're just going to wait for the next offer, aren't they? They're going to think, oh, this is someone who runs offers. Maybe it's not all the time, but it's often enough for them to think, okay, I can wait. People don't get photographed more than once a year normally, so they'll wait until the next few months when you do it, and they're not going to put an inquiry in the meantime. And
then most likely there will be the clients who are not going to be the right sort of clients. They will still want, especially for documentary photography, they might still want to kind of show that perfect side of them, pose in the field, etc. And it's hard to convince them otherwise, because they came to you not because of your artistic value and your photographs, but because of your price. And then it all repeats again. And I can't stress enough that pricing, I think photographers always view it as separate to marketing, but pricing is part of your marketing. It's, if you look at any marketing theory, it's part of the marketing mix. So it's super important to treat it as such, and not kind of like treat them as separate things.
Yeah. So moving on to marketing.
Yeah. Moving on to marketing. Nice segue.
So yeah, it's not just posting on Instagram every day. And that's not a bad thing to do.
No.
But it's you don't even have to do that though. It's so much more, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there are photographers who are extremely successful and they don't even have an Instagram account, or they only share once a month or whatever. And equally photographers who have huge followings and share daily, it doesn't mean that they are making money with their photography.
I'm quite bad at Instagram. I kind of go on it. I'll go in little flurries. I'll go on and then I'll just sort of leave it for a few weeks and go back on again. I don't know, it's just that's sort of how it feels.
Yeah, sometimes it just feels like you don't want to, like I even delete Instagram off my phone every now and again because it's just not good for my mental health. And then I come back and I share for a couple of weeks and then I'm going, I've shared everything.
Job. It's not like just scrolling social media to relax, because it's your job. You that bit of your brain is working, you see other people's work and you love that, but it is your work head is going. So
there's all different kinds of marketing as well. Like, don't just get stuck on social media thinking that's the only way to attract clients. It used to be really good. It used to be that you could put a post up on Facebook and sell out, right? Like sell out the whole year, but it doesn't work like that anymore.
They didn't used to charge for boosting and things,
and they would show you to more people. But there are other avenues. Don't forget referrals. There's offline. There's the whole offline world that you can tap into as your marketing tool. You know, newsletters, email list building is huge if you want to keep in touch with your clients who are
putting yourself
invested.
out there is important, isn't it?
Say it again.
Putting yourself about a bit, I guess. But I think going back to thinking about starting up, a lot of people get into this when their children are quite young, and that's an amazing time to sort of capitalize on your community, because you may be going to baby groups, you may be in NCT groups, or you've not been out of that for too long, or you're going to toddler groups, or you're going to classes like baby yoga or sing and sign, whatever it is. You're in that community, so starting conversations and saying, oh, what do you do, knowing they're going to ask you what you do, and you're making genuine friendships as well, but not being afraid to talk about what you do, and getting work that way is just a great way to just keep talking about it and practice saying it loud. Oh yeah, I'm a family photographer.
Or even better, I run a photography business.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Just to kind of like plant that seed that they have to pay you. You're not just gonna take your camera with you all the time. But exactly, like with older kids, with Alice and I had the discussion actually recently that it's much harder to tap into those baby groups because you're not part of the, you know, you can. It doesn't mean that it's impossible. It just you have to be much more proactive about that. Whereas if you're there anyway, then it's kind of like just more natural to do it.
You do have to find methods that fit in with your personality as well. Like, you know, what I've just said about talking to people, you know, if that's not something you do, then work really hard at something you can do quietly at your computer alone.
Like SEO, like really work hard on your SEO and kind of write content or do YouTube videos. Like there's so many different ways, and you don't have to do all the things as well. It's better to do one thing really well.
Yeah.
And then once you've nailed that, then you can expand to other things.
Or again, you can outsource it to somebody else.
Yes, you can totally do that.
Who knows it inside out. If it's something that just makes you go, oh my God, I don't know how to do it. So learn. And if you just really, really hate a bit of the business, then get someone else to do it and factor that into your pricing. So I guess that's another myth we didn't actually put down, but you don't have to do everything, or the myth will be that you have to do everything.
No, you don't. And it can be scary. It can be scary, especially when you're first starting out and you don't know, like, am I gonna make enough? But the way I look at it, like you can even outsource. Hiring a cleaner is outsourcing, right? And what you pay to a cleaner, you can definitely make up by, you know, working in your business, on your business as a photographer. So there's different ways to look at it for sure.
And if you're watching and there's a bit that you hate, do tell us.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Tell us what you hate. I have a confession. Can I confess? I hate culling. I hate culling so much, but I can't outsource it. Unfortunately, I haven't found a good way to outsource it yet.
Did you try and outsource it once?
I have tried it, and it was a bit of a disaster because the person didn't pick the images that, like, it was a session that I already delivered, so I knew what the client liked. And the person who was culling, I mean, they were brilliant at retouching, but obviously they weren't there. They didn't pick most of the images that the client really liked.
So you can outsource editing, but then culling is such a big part of editing or the editing process that I kind of feel by the time I've culled down to roughly the number I want to give, editing is just such like a downhill slope of that, and it almost feels quite good as a reward after. So it's I've never really tempted to do it.
I've tried it a few times when I was really busy, and then I have like I use the Image Salon. They're in Canada, and they're quite good, and they onboard you, and you can create your own preset with them and all that stuff. But it just feels it's more for weddings anyway than for documentary shoots. I don't know, that's just my experience. But if anyone has a great way, please do let me know.
I really like the beginning and the end of culling. I just hate the middle bit. So I kind of do it in 3 stages. I do my first pick, which is really, really whizzy. And then the end bit is where I just like tweak. And the middle bit is where I go from like a big lump of photos to a small lump or medium-sized lump to a small lump. And that's the one is really slow.
It's slow, But also when I'm picking the final ones, I've been sitting on a session for a while. Like, how do I narrow it down more?
Rebecca says the culling takes me so long. She's culling while listening.
Yeah.
700 images to work with. Right. So Rebecca, if you stay until the end, tell us how many images you got there in like half an hour.
Yeah, I do that. Like I put on an old soap or something, or just completely numb my brain so I can calm, because it's just so painful. I hate it.
But I have, it's quite embarrassing, but I have a soppy playlist on Spotify that I listen to, because I want just to sort of tune into the feel of the, I'm not telling you what's on it, because that is the embarrassing bit, but yeah, just to tune into the feel of the photo. And then when I'm trying to do other work, I listen to podcasts or like rain sounds or like white or forest sounds, that sort of thing.
Feel the photos.
Yeah,
feel.
Exactly. But for culling, I want that kind of, emotion come through. And the thing that I enjoy outsourcing more than anything else, it sounds a tiny little thing, but I found a local courier service, and if I have to deliver something, and maybe I've already felt I've got that closure with the client, I've had that conversation face to face about how I'm so glad you love the photos, or I don't necessarily need to see them again to deliver that personal service. I'll just get a courier to send something, and maybe it's because I do nursery photography as well. I'll just send the prints off to the nursery. And if that saves me an hour and a half in the car, when I could be sitting, because it's not just the hour and a half driving, it's the, okay, I've got to go out in half an hour and then I've come back, and it's such a disruption to your flow, your workflow, and time is so precious that I'll pay like 20 quid for someone to just drive something, and it feels maybe like a lot of money, but I get such a thrill out of actually outsourcing that, because I know how much it costs me to run my business like per day, so I make that work as long as it's not costing me more than it should. So anything you can get rid of that you don't enjoy, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to the next one. I can't charge properly until I'm more experienced. So this is a biggie, isn't it?
And it's kind of like a myth, and it's not a myth at the same time. I think it is complicated. But I think the experience has almost nothing to do with how much you can charge. Like the way I look at it, there's a lot of sort of discussions about, I don't feel like my work is good enough yet. I don't know when I can charge. And sometimes it's people whose work is really, really good. They just feel really insecure. So my answer to it is like your experience level, or how long you've been doing this, almost doesn't matter. Like you need to look at the math and take the emotion out of it to begin with. And once you've done the math and you know how much you need to make per session, then you can start looking at, okay, can I realistically get that much right now when I'm in my first year and I don't have a client base? And then you figure out the ways to kind of build your portfolio maybe, or offer a discount while still showing the real prices.
So going in with cheap prices at the beginning doesn't do you any favors. Your client base is not going to be right, and you're going to grow it with the wrong people in for you. So I always encourage people, if you are actually fairly near the beginner stage, you haven't got a lot of technical or creative experience, and maybe you're not quite there yet, then don't charge until you are actually good enough to charge. Build up your portfolio, spend some time developing those skills until you're at the point where you can show that work, the developed work, and show the proper sustainable prices, and then go from there.
But equally, don't go around, shouting, I'm offering free sessions. I think that's really counterproductive. Do it quietly. You have friends and family you can use.
Do it on the quiet.
Do it on the quiet. Don't advertise the fact that you're giving away free stuff. And as Alice said, you have to start with sustainable prices and maybe discount off them. But those prices have to be visible, because if your plan is to kind of slowly raise the prices over time, every time you make an increase of a meaningful increase, you will have to start all over again with your client base, and you're going to lose out on all the referrals and all of that, and you just multiplying your work unnecessarily.
We're saying this from experience. I did this.
I
cringed totally when I look back, and so I charged at ridiculously low prices for a while at the beginning, because I thought, I can't charge more because I'm not good enough. And I wasn't actually when I started. So I should have just not been charging him, like we said, doing it on the quiet, and then you charge properly when you're at that level. Yeah, but it's really hard. It's hard to not charge if you want to earn money from it and you're kind of raring to go. So you have to just rein yourself in a little bit, or hold off making big changes in your life. If you want to say leave a job, then you could go part-time for a bit. I took a sabbatical. I took a 6-week sabbatical 10 years ago to set the business up. It was a paid sabbatical. I was very, very, very lucky. I would not have done it if it wasn't paid. Yeah, I was very lucky. So I shot as much as I could. I got a website ready. Yeah, and that felt amazing to do that.
Yeah, that's really nice.
For a bit.
And I think like you need to ask your peers, and I mean this group is great for that. Like you can show your portfolio and ask, like, is my work on par? Don't trust yourself. Like we are our own worst critic, and especially for women. I read it somewhere. I can't remember where it was, but it's like a woman can be at 90% of her ability and still think she's not good enough.
Yes.
Whereas, and I'm trying not to be sexist here, but generally speaking, men are much more comfortable and confident, and they can be, you know, sort of in the middle somewhere and feel like they're ready, and it's not wrong. So I think, especially as women, we have to be more confident in our abilities and not wait until we're at 100%, because frankly, you're never at 100%, because you're always growing and always striving to be better, and it's only a good thing. So don't wait until you're perfect, because you'll never be.
And get some objectivity on the quality of the saleability, if you like, of your work. So your friends and your family are always going to tell you that your pics are amazing. The parents of the kids you photograph are always going to love the pictures. I don't know anyone who hates a picture of their own kids. It could be like technically horrendous. It's still their kid in the picture. They go, oh yeah, I definitely would like that. Thank you so much. I love it. But it's like, it's rubbish, and you know it is. So get some objectivity. So what you're saying about gender, I think, yeah, there's that inner voice, which is either going to say, oh, you're terrible, or yeah, go for it. Again, we're kind of somewhere perhaps in between. And so the community is amazing for this. There's so much, so many people who are willing to give constructive criticism. You post pictures in Facebook groups, you're welcome to do it in ours. All over the photography community, there's people who can look at your work and kind of say, yeah, actually, you get some very like sensitively put comments, don't you, sometimes, like, oh, I really recommend this trainer. You know, and listen to that, listen to, maybe you're not quite ready yet.
Yeah.
And we've had sorry, I was just going to read a comment out. My phone's just gone black again. So Stefana says, yes, you don't, sorry if I pronounced your name, I'm not sure if I pronounced it properly. Yes, you don't open a restaurant with low quality food and half the staff you need. Develop a portfolio so when you are ready to start a business, you start the business you want to have. Brilliant.
Lovely. And just one more comment, actually, where you said interesting about like your friends and family are going to tell you your pictures are amazing, but equally those same friends and family will tell you, oh, you can't charge more than 10 quid for that, can you?
Totally. Or you will photograph like your cousin's christening, won't you, for free, give it as a present, or
yeah,
you know, yeah.
It's like £2,000 present.
Yes, your friends and family are not your client base. No. Well, your friends may be your client base, they may be, but your family probably aren't, and they may not be honest with you. Yeah. But pricing is such a big deal. And you know, if there was one answer, one way to price that was the best way for everybody, we wouldn't be having so many like head scratching conversations about it amongst ourselves. There's so many options. And one of the things I look back on, I got wrong, was I didn't really realize the nuances of the pricing models in the photography business. So don't just look at what someone else does and think, okay, that's how you do it. There's so many different ways of doing it.
Yeah, and there's so many different, like, people are different. What people want out of their life is different. Someone wants to shoot every day. Someone wants to shoot once a month, and it's still possible to make roughly the same amount of money with both approaches. Like, you just have to decide what is it you want and what your life looks like right now. How much can you shoot?
And then iterate that if you think it's changing. Maybe you've got children who are starting school soon and you can up the days or whatever. Okay, so shall we move on to 7?
Yes.
Clients only want all digitals.
Yes, and that kind of like piggies back on the pricing approaches, isn't it? It's where there's several pricing approaches, but the two main ones are there's one fee that clients pay upfront and they get all digitals. And another one is where clients pay a session fee to book a session, and then after that they can purchase anything, including the digitals, but also products like albums and frames. And I think as documentary family photographers, and I've definitely done that when I kind of started down the documentary route, is thinking, well, I want them to have the whole story. So therefore, I want them to pay for the whole thing straight away. And consequently, that's what my clients wanted. Right? Clients only want all digitals because that's all you're giving them, or because it's only because they don't know what else is possible. They're not experts in albums and frames and everything that's possible with the pictures. So don't, if they go ahead, sorry.
But with documentary, actually, this genre is especially suited to albums, isn't it? Because we do tell stories with the entire collection of photos from a shoot. So there's great potential for album sales. And I think there's also perhaps a myth that documentary portraits or documentary family moments aren't for the wall, that the only pictures clients want on the wall are, I guess, like smiley, camera aware portraits, and they look great on the wall. But I mean, I've got all sorts on mine. Yeah, just like running around, candid shots, and more arty ones.
Documentary portraits as well. Like if you can make those, you can definitely sell wall art, and you can actually sell several. You can sell a whole gallery, a collection of maybe smaller frames to work together as a story. So I think don't get hung up on the fact that clients only want on digitals. They wouldn't, like, it's the same thing I always think about an iPhone. No one knew they wanted an iPhone until there was an iPhone, right?
I still haven't got an iPhone.
There you go.
I wouldn't mind one though.
Yeah, they're lovely. But you know, when no one knew it was a possibility, and suddenly everyone wanted one because Steve Jobs gave us one. So it's the same with anything. Like you have to tell them what's possible and kind of hold their hand a little bit. And not to mention that you want to open up your earning potential more than
I was all inclusive for quite a big chunk in the middle. Started out with a session fee, and then products and packages. Moved to all inclusive, mainly really because I wanted everyone to have everything. There was an emotional reason for that, but also I just wanted to be really straightforward and say, look, I've shot all this, have it. You pay for it, but let's not mess about which are your favorites. And I'm not sure I've completely landed on the right thing now, but I was kind of happy with that for quite a long time. But the cap on your earnings is just like watertight, isn't it?
It's not sustainable at all.
You are not going to get any revenue above that. For maybe 90% of your clients. Shall we move on to that? Leads us on to oh, by the way, as we're talking, and we've got time for questions today, so if you do have any, just pop them.
Anything to do with business, really, anything goes. Sales means a hard sell.
Sales is something that is a bit of a dirty word, isn't it?
It is. It can be.
It can feel like it's a bad thing to do. I think especially in the UK, I think compared to like in other countries, there's this sort of Britishness of like, you just hate being sold to. If we get, you get a cold call and someone says, oh, are you having a great day? How's your loft insulation?
I just hang up.
I hate that. I just had one today. I had one today that we hang up on.
Go away.
And we just get really upset about that hard sell. So it doesn't mean a hard sell. You don't have to do it like the people who phone you up.
Exactly. I was just going to say that. Like we all have that picture of like a door-to-door salesman, like selling you stuff that you don't want when we think about sales. But it's not that, is it? I think Alice, you had like a nice analogy, IPS, so in-person sales.
Oh yes. So, and I did read this somewhere else. So we think of IPS, the S is sales, but if you just swap the S for something else, like service or support, and think about, you're adding this incredible value to your clients. You've got to know them. You've got to probably know their home if you've shot in an in-home session. So you know what their house looks like, whether they've got things on the wall, whether they've got little bookshelves. You got to know their family, their personality. You can help them make the most of the photos you've made for them.
Yeah. And they want them as well. It's not like you're calling them up and go and buy those frames. They've already invested in some photography, and they want this, so help them get it. And you don't have to always sell everything. Like I always come into sales appointment, and actually I don't do in-person sales, and there are lots of different ways to sell profitably, and it doesn't always have to be in person. But if you think about yourself as a consultant who helps them make the right choices and right decisions, and sometimes it actually means talking them out of a purchase, for me at least. Like I'll tell them, please don't buy 10 pewter frames for the wall right now.
Like your wall is only so big.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do next year?
Yeah, I mean, in some houses there's plenty of wall space, but in others you kind of want them to tell them, well, let's do it next year again, so you can build up your collection. And then clients really trust you, because you're not there just to push products on them and threaten them with deletion of images like some high street chains do.
So the goal is not to walk away with as much money as possible. The goal is to have enough money that makes your bottom line for the time you spent with that client. That's really, really, really important. So you need a pricing structure that means you're not losing money if the client doesn't buy what you want them to buy. The bottom line is so important. But on top of that, you want to leave your clients happy. You want them to, after the cooling off period, which like legally is 2 weeks for certain things that you buy, but there's a reason that exists. This is UK law, I'm not sure about in other places. And there's a reason that exists, because we get excited about buying things and then we think, oh, actually, I'm not into that anymore. So you don't want them to sort of walk down their stairs past their like 10 enormous gold plated frames and go, oh, actually, I'm not really feeling this.
Yeah.
You think, oh, she ripped me off. When I started, I was talking to people who'd had, so when I had a baby, had friends with babies. I remember people had gone to I wasn't, before I set up, they'd gone to photographers locally, and one person felt really, really ripped off afterwards because of the sales method. It was literally like, you have to buy this today,
or we'll delete all the images. I've heard that before.
And not only did they not recommend that person, they went out of their way to tell us about their experience and to warn us off choosing that person. So you want to leave your client feeling that they made the right decision to go with you, that they made the right decision to buy what they did buy afterwards, and that they're not just recommending you based on your photography and perhaps the way you were in the session, perhaps the way you prepared them, but they're recommending you based on the way you were afterwards as well. The care you took of helping them choose the right things, the care you took in designing products, listening to them and what they wanted, helping them decide where things would go on the wall even. And like you said, making sure they've got room for next year, because if they come back next year and you have just an extra, I've got one client who just buys 2 frames a year off me, and she's slowly filling this long corridor. And there's a gap, but it's kind of exciting in a way. That gap's great because the kids, they can imagine the kids growing up,
That's really cool.
Yeah,
for sure. And just kind of again to go back to what I said about, IPS in person sales is not always a solution. It's not right for everyone. And that's the beauty of it. Same as there's no one pricing structure that's right for everyone, not one number that's right for everyone. Similarly with sales, there's different ways you can do it. And I've tried both in-person sales and online sales, and I can tell you can do anything with anything. It just what works for you.
And of course, with COVID, we've been doing things over Zoom a bit more, haven't we? And we're all a bit more used to that.
Yeah, people are much more comfortable with just having, whereas before, like Zoom, what do you mean? What is Zoom? Right now, you'd hope that everyone knows how to do Zoom.
Because I started out doing IPS, and I really liked it because I wanted to see their faces when they saw the pictures. That was the thing that I really loved. And then I stopped because of the efficiency of it. It just felt, I mean, I was then all inclusive, but it felt like going back again as an extra time cost. It's about the same amount of time as the shoot, and that's why I held off for such a long time. But you again have to factor in the time for that if you do it in person. But if you, I mean, in person is part of the name, but you can do a Zoom version, and that does not take the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Like I stopped doing in-person sales because a lot of my clients are spread all over the place, and quite a few of them actually international, so that was not going to work anyway. So I was spending a lot of time driving all around London, at which point by the end of the day it wasn't worth it. Even if I had a great sale, or I had to have two processes anyway for people who are in the UK and people who are international. So for me, I just landed on online sales, and you can sort of set it up in similar way and still sell products. You just kind of have to prep your clients beforehand and have conversations with them beforehand.
It's just making sure people know what to expect.
Yeah, exactly.
And doing the right thing for you, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah. So Karen's made a comment. I've never done this sort of photography before. No friends and family to practice on. How can I get experience? That's a really good question, because we do talk a lot about practice on your friends and family, and we talked about, so one way is to go to local Facebook groups, go online. I mean, there's where I live, there's like, so you're tripping over yourself for parenting groups for different villages or the town, so you can ask in there, but there's that risk, like we talked about, of them publicly appearing as somebody who is doing free work or offers. So if you can do it offline, I think that's better. So in terms of no friends or family,
other photographers are great subjects.
Yes, that's a really good one.
Find photographers who are local to you. I mean, it's great just to build relationships and build friendships in your local area, because it's such a lonely profession. Oh, I forgot to plug my computer in. Wait a second.
While you're doing that, if you say no friends, family, I'm guessing you mean you've got no friends with children, rather than no friends entirely. So if you have friends without children, then maybe they know somebody. You know, you can ask around offline in a way that, what we talked earlier about, doing it on the quiet. The other thing you can do is reach out to people who have a similar or a shared client base with you. So maybe there's someone local who, like we talked about, you know, putting yourself out there in baby groups, if that's your stage of life. You might not be going to them, but you could find somebody who's running one and send a message through there. Or, you know, I remember going to I think it was pregnancy yoga. This is a really long time ago, something like 11 years ago. And someone came in at the end. She just gave her 5 minutes at the end to say she wanted to do birth photography. So we're all sitting there like these massive bumps. She said, "Joe, I'm wanting to build my portfolio for birth photography. I'm looking for a couple of people." And we all sat there like, "I'm not quite sure." Because we were like first time, you know, getting emotionally prepared for this whole experience. But there would have been potentially someone sitting there going, "Actually, that sounds amazing."
Yeah, it is about, like, just as any business, it's about networking, and networking can take many forms. And networking is basically meeting people and talking to people and being excited about what you do. Another thing you can do is, you know, you can practice photography with that. Even if you want to be a documentary family photographer, you can practice taking pictures with just your community. Find a charity that maybe needs some help, and you can still practice even on grown-ups. Or maybe pets, maybe there's a pet charity or something. Serve your local community in that way. Or street photography is great for that as well. There's so many ways to practice if you put your mind to it. So don't let yourself be discouraged if you don't have. I mean, when I started photography, I don't think I don't have any family here. Like I think my friends didn't have children at that time at all. So I kind of just photographed whatever came my way, and kind of grew from there.
Yeah, so Karen, you mentioned about not having friends. So what you said about community networking and charity work, I think is a really good thing to look at. I think it's a hard job to do well in the early days if you're not networking with people in some way. Those people don't have to be very close to you. You just have to put yourself in the situations where there are other people.
put yourself in the position of helping your local community. I think that's probably going to be your best bet, and just go from there and be open to opportunities and open to helping people.
Okay. So this is quite a scary statistic. 85% of photography businesses fail in the first 3 years. And then I just have to get this exactly right. So I've got this noted here. In the first year, 60% of photographers give up their business. And of the remaining 40%, 25% close within the second year. So that means statistically, the odds are it isn't going to work. But that's perhaps if you just don't do anything, if you just set up and go, right, I've done,
here's a website, here's some Instagram posts, that's it. But that's not going to work.
Better still, I've got my Facebook page with 20 pictures of my kid on, done.
No.
There's a lot to do, there's work to do, and there's iterations to do along the way. And you do have to have a bit of resilience, don't you?
I think that statistic probably doesn't include people who are kind of like doing it as a side around sort of without having to earn income. Those probably stay in business, like not in business, but keep going for a bit longer. But that's not sustainable. You have, even if you're doing it as a way to generate some pocket money, like I feel like you still have to think about it differently, because you never know what's going to happen. Your other half might lose their job, and what are you going to do then? So like, I think you have to look at it from that perspective, or even from a perspective of you giving up your time. Why don't you want to be charged? Why don't you want to be paid for that appropriately? You're taking away time from your family. Don't subsidize taking pictures of other people's families because you're spending time away from your family.
One of the pitfalls with pricing is you can price for somebody who isn't running a full business. You can instead price for someone who has a job, which pays the mortgage, pays the bills, gives you the life you want, and this is pocket money. And if that goes back to a vicious circle of business mistakes, if you price like that, it's not going to grow in a sustainable way. And then, of course, it's going to fail.
Yeah.
You don't have any sustainability built into the business model. So, which is why we say to wait and then price properly, and then to work on it as time goes on, to iterate, to tweak things, to change things, to have objective people give you advice and develop the skills. You do not start not having all the skills to do this. Absolutely. Well, I mean, for you, it's amazing. But we all have skills gaps, and those I guess those change as well, don't they?
Yeah, and the great news, like when I first started, I started my business in 2009. Oh my god, that's a long time ago. And there wasn't really that much information available, like compared to what we have now in terms of just information, support, courses, books. There was virtually nothing. Creative Live wasn't even called Creative Live then. There was no Creative Live. It was called Creative Text or something like that.
Never heard of it.
Right,
I started the year after you. Yeah. I remember someone recommended it to me and I was like, oh, what's this?
What's this thing? Yeah. So like the information wasn't available, where now you're in a position when there are courses and instructors and mentors that you can tap into, which brings us to
just click the next slide, please.
Some of you know, because we opened up enrollment yesterday for a mailing list. But if you don't know, Alice and I are running a 12-week mentored business and marketing course called The Business of Documentary.
We're very excited about
that. This is a brand new course. We've never done it together before. But we have done it. We have taught business individually, like separately, without like I've lost my train of thought here, like without making it a course.
Yeah, so I've done individual one-on-one mentoring and helped people with their businesses, and we just I mean, partly because we're together in Made for Documentary, we wanted to come together and to help people who just need that support. And we could talk about this stuff all day.
Oh yes,
We can be very, very geeky about this. I think just as happy to talk about this as we are to talk about photographs, aren't we?
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, the great thing about having two instructors is that we both bring different perspectives. We both have different lives, and we make things work in different ways. So you can tap into that knowledge and different kind of, you know, we have different personalities as well, and we make it work for our personality.
So we've got gaps, haven't we? And we've got things that complement each other and strengths. And then, so now you're great at mindset in business.
Yeah.
And I'm not so great at that, but I'm really great. Like if anyone's
you're great at spreadsheets.
Yeah. I guess because I'm kind of quite boring like that. But
no, but it's exciting. You can make it exciting.
I think spreadsheets are exciting, which is why I think probably I'm quite boring. But I think between us, we do make a really good team. And we've both, over the 20 years we've been in business in photography, plus the years in business, I came from the corporate world, back then in people management and brand management. The mistakes we have made over the years.
Oh gosh.
You know,
you want to learn from those.
Yeah, exactly. We've learned from them, and now you can too.
Yeah. So my background is in marketing as well. And then interestingly, I think when I first started my business, I wasn't really great at that at all. I mean, I kind of was reasonably successful, but my money management skills were abysmal. Honestly, I'm just saying that because it's true. But I realized that, and I taught myself money mindset and how to manage my money, and like just the whole sort of brain side of that. So I think anyone can learn that, because I'm the creative type. I'm like that sort of type. I'm not an Excel spreadsheet kind of type at all.
I'm really passionate about money management as well.
Yeah,
and it's something I'm really evangelical about, doing a lot of financial planning in your business so that you can be the best boss for yourself that you can be, basically. And time management. So one of my, I guess, traits in my personality that I think isn't so great is time management. I know that if left to my own devices, I'll be a bit crap at time management. One of those people that's always a bit late for things. So when you start to have kids and everyone's late anyway, it's amazing because no one knows that you're always like that. So I work really, really, really hard on time management. And I think I'm pretty good at helping other people with that. But it's because it comes from a place where you have knowledge and you understand that about yourself, which goes back to earlier, we were talking about knowing how you work.
Yeah.
And my background is in people management and HR. So I've done a lot of work in how we work and how we manage people. I do have to read a comment out. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Rose, Alice's spreadsheets are amazing. Thank you very much. It's very kind.
Yes, her spreadsheets are amazing. So the course starts on the 6th of September. The enrollment is open now. It's limited to 12 people. We've already sold a few seats, so don't delay if that's something that you're interested in. There is an early bird discount. I'm going to put a link in the comments, so you can click on that and it will take you to the page with all discounts applied and stuff. And if you have any questions at all, I mean, I think the next slide kind of shows what we're going to cover, but it's basically everything that you need to know. It's going to be very intensive. You will have to do work. It doesn't work like you just listen to things and it just magically happens. You actually have to sit down and do the hard stuff. Like work out your numbers, look at your bank account and figure out how much things cost. It's not going to be easy, but if you put your mind to it, we can guide you and kind of signpost you and give you the tools to make sure that you start off in the best way possible. Or if you've been running or trying to run the business for a while, and it's not quite working out, and you want to up level and you want to do it properly, that's also a great course for you.
So if you feel you've maybe been in that circle, oh my God.
I got you on that.
I know. That vicious circle of business mistakes then will help you get out of it. And I think it's, we're self-employed and you work on your own, and it's really hard. I mean, we're now working on our own with a house full of other people who are working from home or potential homeschooling, but generally it's quite a lonely thing to run a business sometimes, and when you've got to make decisions and they're difficult or you don't quite know what to do, it can take a lot of time. So it's also about that peer support and accountability in the group. So
yeah, just knowing that there are 11 other people watching what you're gonna do, and like sort of cheering you on, and maybe even sometimes commiserating that it is hard. But it's a lot of fun doing it in a group, for sure.
Yeah. A comment from Kirsty: thanks for all this, ladies. Love how much you both laugh while talking business. Well, honestly, I love it.
You gotta laugh though.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta laugh.
We're coming to the end, so if there's any last questions, please do pop them in before we go. I just wanted to ask Rebecca, if you're still culling, how many images you've got left now. From that was 35 minutes ago, you had 7. So I'm so sorry if that's putting you on the spot. Please just ignore me if you don't want to answer. Pretend you've gone. I don't know if you're here or not, but I'd love to know. I don't know how, in half an hour. My first call is about, it's less than an hour. So I do this really, really geeky thing by time, how long it takes me to do things like that, because then I factor that into figuring out my capacity for work and how much I need to charge.
Yeah, I think it's the worst thing. Like the task stretches to the amount of time you have. That's just the law. There is a name for it, something, but whatever time you have, the task stretches to that amount of time.
Yes.
So it's great to give yourself that power hour, or whatever you want to call it, where you're going to sit down and go, I'm just going to get through this really quickly. I used to do this. I mean, obviously not last year because nothing happened, but so I home educate. And when my son would go to like forest school for an hour and a half, I would sit in a cafe and I'd know I have those 90 minutes to get stuff done. And that was incredibly empowering, and I got a lot more done than when I'm at home and there's like a cup of tea and there's a biscuit.
I'm gonna stop sharing, then we can both talk together. Hopefully this will work. Oh, hang on. Okay.
Rebecca has it.
485.
Still a long way to go. Ruthless.
Yes.
Be ruthless.
Yeah. And second call, great. Keep going. Should we do a live call sometime?
Yeah.
Is that interesting? No, I don't know.
Actually, that might be.
Yeah, because it is the most boring thing to do. Let's see if we can make it exciting. Rose says, I've just discovered photo mechanic, which has really sped up my culling time. Now, I have had so many people rave about photo mechanic, and I've never tried it. I'm a bit like, when enough people rave about it, you're a bit like,
am I missing out?
Yeah. Do you use that?
I got FOMO a couple of years ago when I bought it, and I tried it, and I didn't get on with it at all. I get so it doesn't really do anything other than Lightroom. It doesn't magically cull for you. I think I've seen some people sort of assume that it does some sort of magic stuff. It doesn't. What it does, it just loads much quicker than Lightroom. But you can sort of generate previews in Lightroom as well, and you keep like, I only do for client work. Don't ask me about my personal work.
Oh no, we're both the complete shambles.
No. But for client work, I have a catalog per shoot. So it's not one bloated catalog, it's just one shoot per catalog, and it lives with that folder with the raw files and JPEGs, and it moves around. And I actually started doing that when I was outsourcing for a bit, because I had to send a catalog to the image salon. And that means that my Lightroom actually is fairly fast, especially if you generate previews before you start culling. And also because when I get to the end of it, when I have about maybe 150 to 200 images, I start playing with editing at that point. And I want to see like which of those images works in black and white, maybe. And if it works in black and white, I'm going to keep it. If it doesn't work in black and white, I'm going to delete it, or not delete it, but not pick it. So for me, it just felt like photo mechanic was restricting me when I wanted to play with the sliders and things.
That kind of goes back to being your own boss and knowing how you work.
Yeah.
So if you're like reward motivated, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but if you want to like give yourself a biscuit or something, it sounds silly, but for some people that's brilliant. you know, when you've got to so many. Rebecca's just saying, how many is too many to deliver?
Well, it
just
depends.
Say 485. Yeah, keep going.
485 is
too
many to deliver.
But I think you pick a number that works for you. I think I kind of have this, like 100 is like such a milestone, isn't it? That's such a round number that you definitely got to be on. It depends how long the shoot is. If you want to mention how long it is, if it's a day in the life, then okay, you know, above that is fine.
Even a day in a life, I think 485 is too many.
Oh yeah, I think we're not there yet. We're not at the end of it yet.
No, but I like to, again, it depends. Like I'm calling a shoot now when it's a family with 3 kids, and you want to have each child kind of represented roughly equally, and in different combinations throughout the day. And I got it down to 92, I think, and I'm struggling to get it down anymore, which I think means that probably that's the right amount.
So I think you have to have that figure in your head, like what's your maximum and kind of what's your ideal. And when you're in between, a good thing to do is set Lightroom to do a slideshow on random. So it orders them in a random order. And then out of the narrative, the ones that are a bit crap will stand out.
Oh, that's a good tip. Yeah.
Or do it backwards. Yeah, because and imagine them saying, oh, I'd really like number 39 in a 20-inch frame. And you're like, oh, that one's a bit, please don't order that one.
Yeah.
So imagine each.
Another thing is like never include in the gallery something you don't want clients to buy at like 20 by 30.
Yes. Yeah, because you're probably dithering over it because it's such a great moment, or maybe the kid looks happy, you know, really smiley or something.
Yeah.
So that's the one they're going to want massive. Yeah, so just
I've had that actually. I've had exactly that early on. I had a picture that wasn't even in focus, I think, and they wanted it huge.
No.
I know.
So Rebecca says, I have photo mechanic fear of missing out too, but can't cope with the thought of learning something new.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Joanne said, I feel like I'm constantly trying to catch up, also trying to figure out what is needed and what is cool, since I'm not an expert yet. Some of the great features are lost on me. I think there's a real barrier to using new stuff because we think, oh God, I just don't know how to use it. But it's like so many things in business, it's a business skill that you have to invest the time and the money in getting to the point where it's adding value to the business. If it's something that actually isn't that great and it's taking you longer, or it's costing you a lot and it's not adding a lot, then it's not a good decision. But if it's just a case of having to take 3 days away from your normal diary to get your head around a client management system or something, it's so worth it in the end.
Yeah, and a lot of those things, like especially client management systems, CRMs, it's better to do it early on when you're maybe not as busy. Because the worst thing to do is when you have 20 shoots to deliver and you're trying to figure out something new and it's just not going to work.
Yeah. And talking about that to the beginning of setting up a business as well, that's the time when you haven't got clients texting you at 11 o'clock at night going, where's some pictures, you know, where they're spread out a bit more. So like January is typically quite a downtime in the industry. So decide, okay, I'm going to buy a client management system then, or if you're already up running. So yeah, it's just been smart with time. So you're working smarter, not harder.
Yeah, but equally, I would say like the FOMO is real, but it doesn't always mean that you have to buy the thing that just because everyone else is using it.
Yeah, so I have no iPhone and no photo mechanic.
I've had Lightroom, what is it, the Lightroom 5 until a few months ago.
I had Lightroom 6
or whatever it was, like the one before the standalone one.
Yeah, because it did everything we needed it to do.
Exactly. I only switched because I had to with Sony files, and that's the only reason. And I really didn't want to.
Yeah, and I switched to update my operating system. So there's a valid like systems reason to do it. But you don't necessarily need the latest stuff. So Rebecca says that's really helpful information, Antonina. I need to see the edits too at a certain point. I'm going to try and set aside my photo mechanic. Missing out. Rebecca loves the slideshow tip. Good. And Vicky, never use photo mechanic, but find the review mode in Bridge to be great for the first couple of calls and much faster than Lightroom.
Well, there you go. And then Bridge is free.
Yes. Yeah. And some things in business that are essential are free, and some things you have to pay for. And yeah, we'll be kind of looking at all of that as well.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably going to wrap up now, unless there's any more questions. I'm just going to do a last refresh. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If you're catching up, feel free to put comments or questions in the comments or in the group or message us. And we'll be very, very happy to answer any questions that you might have about the course that we have.
I'm wondering what number Rebecca's on.
Sorry, okay, you're going to have to keep us updated, as Rebecca.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.